Hmm. Feel that stillness. It's always with you. That stillness, that void. But then these thoughts arise and we become captivated by them. All of our attention is drawn into the realm of thought, into the realm of ego. And then fall into this trap. You see. But in the background, all along, there's this silence. And the trick is to keep that silence in the foreground and let the thoughts and feelings be in the background. You see? So, this silence really, this should draw your attention. These thoughts, some of them require a little bit of attention. Most of them hardly require any attention. In fact, you would find your life much more peaceful if the attention to thought were diminished. You see, the mind is not a peaceful place. Thoughts come and go. Thoughts are constantly changing. And they're stirring up emotions. And they're causing you to do things. And they're creating an illusion of individuality, of separateness. Because here's this body, it's obviously separate from the other bodies, and the walls and the doors. It's obviously a separate thing. And with that body comes a mind with its thoughts and feelings, all of it. And all of that draws you in to this sense of separation. But in that silence, in that stillness, when you go merge with that, you don't feel separation. You feel unicity with everything. So the mind and this body, giving that your full attention, causes you to feel separation. And feeling separate is not a peaceful place. It's anxious, it's like, I always picture an infant. The infant all of a sudden feels separate, starts crying. And the mommy comes over, brings the baby to her breast, and the baby gradually feels unicity again and relaxes. So you want to be that good mommy to yourself. And continually bring yourself back to that sense of peace. You work with it for a while, just to kind of get a feel for what it is that I'm talking about. Then it becomes something that you're sure about. And once you become sure about it, then the mind doesn't have the power to draw you out and away from your sense of peace. You see. And the mind is grabbing all of the attention because, it's well designed, it's very seductive. It's designed to get all, imagine they invented a really good virtual reality machine. You put it on your head and you see all this stuff and it just draws all of your attention, and all of a sudden you're believing all these things are happening that aren't even happening, but you're totally lost in it. And then the time runs out in your helmet or whatever, you need batteries, or dinner or something, and then you take it off and you go, that was great. But if you put on the same helmet and you look at this and you go, this isn't fucking real. Who cares about this stuff? I'm not going to get involved in this. Well, then the virtual reality didn't work. Now, the thing is, right now, you're in a virtual reality machine, these bodies. That's what you're living, is a virtual reality. And it works because it's well designed, and because you perceive everything with a mind which you think, well, the mind is fantastic. But there's billions of minds. They're not that fantastic. They're just a mediocre tool that would buy into this illusion. That's how fantastic they are. They're easily seduced, easily trained and easily guided, you see. Now, when you're in that sense of stillness and you feel that unicity with everything, then you're in a universal consciousness which is like so vast compared to a mind. And that stillness, what happens is, it's always there. And we become aware of it occasionally. And then the mind comes in and goes, that's it. And then that sense of unicity is gone. It's just gone. Because that sense of separation has come to claim it. And you see, if you buy into it, then you get sucked into, away from the whole thing. Then you have to try and find your peace again. So look at it this way. While you're all involved in your thoughts and feelings, this isn't even real. This is a virtual reality. This is something purporting to be real. But it's not. It's just a really good virtual reality. Okay, it's better than any of the machines they've developed so far. This body-mind is top-notch right now on Earth. It's pretty good. There may be other animals that have even better ones, but we just don't perceive it that way. But it doesn't matter. You see, the thing about it is, this thing that you think is so important and so crucial and so everything about it it has meaning. It has substance, but it has none of those things. You see? This body-mind will only last a lifetime. That's the end. Begin birth and death. And before, no. After, no. And so it's like this, okay, so for, let's say 70, 80 years, if you're lucky, this virtual reality machine continues to function. And then it ends forever. Now, forever is a long time. And you see, you've had all these beings whose lives were just as important as yours is now. For thousands and thousands of years, they went on. They had incredible lives, incredible dramas, incredible mysteries. All of it went on. Now it's gone. It's all gone. We don't know their names. And even if we did, we don't know their stories. There's a few saints we know some stories about. Maybe half of them are accurate. Maybe. Then there's some other saints that are long forgotten because they go back more than 6,000 years. No one knows who the fuck they were. We only remember the ones from 2,000, 3,000 years. That's it. And only a couple of them. There were some other saints from other societies that died out, and their stories are gone. So it's just a dream. It's just a dream. You see, like when you go to sleep at night, you have a dream, and during the time of that dream, it's all real. It's all happening. You're having all these feelings about things that are happening in your dream. You wake up, immediately you know it was just a dream. You know it wasn't real. You quickly forget. That's death. You see, same. You have this lifetime. It's just longer than your dream. Than your nighttime dream. It's just a lifetime dream, which, as I explained, is also very short. So don't take it seriously. Really. It's all laughable. And it's laughable when you do. It's laughable. You should be able to look at your situation and be amused. You should be able to look at all the complications and serious stuff that comes up and think like, wow, that's something. How long are you going to buy into it? What's the payoff? What is the payoff? So you have a few moments of pleasure. You have a few moments of pain. You have anxiety all the time. What you call peace in your daily life, what you call peace is just the absence of awareness of anxiety. But the anxiety is always there. It's always there because imagine how anxious you would feel if you were truly separate from God. That's a terrible place to be. So just work with it and learn not to take yourself, your situation, or others too seriously. Because none of it is serious. It's all a joke. Please.
I laugh more than anybody I know. And I try to make other people smile.
Try and make other people what?
Smile.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll even go out of my way to be silly or stupid, whatever, just to bring a smile to somebody or a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
But on the same side of that coin is people telling me I'm too loud, or I'm too this, or I'm too that. And I try not to take it serious, but I also want to be conscientious, for lack of a better word, you know what I mean? And yet not take it too serious, but and even in the Course of Miracles, which I've been in for many moons, it says in there that we forget to laugh. So.
Well, you see,
Sorry?
when you don't care about what you think about yourself, you also won't care about what other people think of you. So what you're looking at is, you see,
What? Say that again?
when you don't care what you think about yourself, you won't care what other people think about you either. You see, so people's judgments, people saying you're too this, you're too that, it's like, yeah, oh well. Yeah. So I remember there's this guy, I don't like him, on MSNBC, who's he's black guy, has politics now, what's his name? He's an old civil rights guy.
Jesse Jackson?
No. He's got a show on MSNBC.
Sharpton?
Yeah, Al Sharpton. And he's loud. He's always loud. And it's one of the reasons, like, Jesus, turn down the volume. And he was like, and he just talks loud. And someone said something once, and he goes, yeah, I know, my volume control's broken. You see? He was totally okay.
He could be hard of hearing, too. You know?
Well, whatever. He was, the way he said it was just brilliant. And it's just like, well, what can you do? You know, and that was it. Yeah, my volume control's broken. That's how he talks, everything. You see, so it's kind of like, you know, if you care about what other people think of you, it's a symptom of you caring about what you think about yourself, which is a symptom of involvement with thought, you see. So you know,
Big aha moment.
you will not find a way to meet everybody's expectations. It's not possible. But if you can meet your own expectations, then it won't matter what other people expect of you. You see, so start there. Always bring it back home so that you don't get lost in the this and that and the tug and the pull. And the thing is, if you adjust your behavior for other people based upon their needs, then what happens is you start feeling resentful. It always happens that way because you don't feel like you're fully accepted for being the way you are. So you can avoid that trap. And not everyone has to be okay with you being the way you are. It's all right. But that would be perfectly normal, so like I guess someone found out Willie Nelson was a Democrat and said, I'm never going to listen to your music again. How can you be for, and against Trump and this and that. He goes, I've been a Democrat all my life. I've never kept it a secret, and it's perfectly fine if he doesn't want to listen to my music. Nobody has to listen to my music. If you don't want to listen to my music, that's fine. You see, he's fine. He's totally okay. He's totally okay being who he is. He's totally okay if someone else isn't okay and wants to deal with it by not being around, not listening to him, not whatever. It's not a problem, see? So, yes.
So I just want to make sure I understood what you said on Thursday correctly.
Okay.
So, it's been working for me, so that's a good thing. So, of course I'm enlightened until some issue comes up, right? So...
Damn those issues! If we could just put you in a little, one of those tubs
Yeah.
where there's no stimulus, everything stops.
Enlightened being,
Yeah.
for sure.
Until they open the door and the light comes in.
There you go,
Then you-
lost it. So, I had a situation with a friend and kind of got triggered, and so anyway, I was obsessing about what was happening between us, obsessing about it. And so after Thursday, one of the things you said was accept that you don't accept something. So I tweaked it because I had been just saying, oh, isn't that interesting? Well, with my obsessive thoughts and the emotions that came up because of my wonderful thoughts. So then I just said, okay, I don't accept that I'm having these thoughts. I accept that I don't accept that I'm having these thoughts. And so anyway, it was easier for some reason. It just kind of dissipated. It was lighter, like that. So is that what you meant?
Yeah, you see, the thing is, people think of acceptance as an interrelated opposite, that you accept or you don't accept, but the acceptance I'm talking about is bigger than that. And the love that I'm talking about is bigger than that. They're really interchangeable words for me, but I'm talking about an acceptance that is so large that it includes non-acceptance. You see, so you accept everything, including your non-acceptance. Yeah, so that's it, and you see it's all encompassing. So when I'm talking about love, I'm not talking about the opposite of hate. That's just an interrelated opposite. I'm talking about a love that can embrace hate, that can embrace everything. When I'm talking about peace, I'm not talking about the opposite of war. I'm talking about something that can embrace everything. So that's what you want. You want something that can never change. You want something that you can rely on. That is my definition of truth. that which is eternal, that which never changes. Now the mind wants to turn everything into interrelated opposites. It's this or it's that. And I've seen plenty of people get on the spiritual path and just develop new spiritual rules that are just as oppressive as the old rules and just as incorrect. They're just new and improved. You see? So this is an opportunity to bring this acceptance, love, peace into all aspects of your life. All inclusive. Everyone can come into the pool. It's fine. It's just totally fine.
Yeah, we just call it allowing.
Yeah, allowing. Or witnessing is more of a classical word that I like for that too. Allowing puts a little more me in it because someone has to allow. Witnessing is a little more neutral, self-neutral, at least in the way I see it. All words have baggage and none of them are correct. So it's difficult. You can use any word you have resonance with. Yes.
Could you elaborate a little bit more? You were talking, I just need to hear it again, about acceptance and turning to resentment. Acceptance of ourselves. And if we aren't meeting others' expectations, we start something like that.
Well, you see, when you're just being you,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And let's say you get into a relationship, and then the person that you're with says, "Ooh, I don't like it when you do that. You know, it makes me feel bad," whatever it is. And then you make the adjustment. And it works for a while, and then there get other rules, you know, other little things, and you have your rules and he has his, and different things that you make adjustments. But you see, what happens over time is, you just being you is not okay anymore. You see? It was okay before, it was okay with your friends. This is why you see some people in relationships, their personalities change.
Right.
You know, because they've had to make all these adjustments, and they end up fighting because they feel resentful, because all of a sudden, now they can't even be themselves, you see? And so it's just a interpersonal dynamic. So my wife Kelly, when we first got together, this came up. And I could see it in that moment. She was and I said, you know, I don't know how important this is to you, but if it's really important, you probably should be with someone else, because this is the way I am. This is how I've always been, you know, this is my personality. And I can see that if I said okay and made the adjustment, I would start feeling resentful. And I said, that's not the kind of relationship we're having here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And I just, you know, my deal is I'll accept you the way you are, 100%. You know, and if you can't accept me the way I am, that's all right. And, you know, but I was detached enough that I was fine with it, you know, not proceeding from there. And to Kelly's credit, she got it. And she never asked me to, ever again. Except to say, you know, one day, oh, I'm really sensitive today. Could you cool it down? That's all right. You know, but outside of that, never had to adjust my personality nor hers for me.
What's the difference between that and adjusting behavior? What's the difference between adjusting personality and adjusting behavior?
The same. The same, really. I'm just the same thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking though, because sometimes it's okay to adjust behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can feel right to be sensitive in certain moments.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's, so, it just depends on how far you take it when you're talking about
Sure.
behavior. Personality, there's limits. What can you do? And, and also, you see, I don't do personal work. That's over.
Oh,
So it's not like
yeah.
I have a lot of potential in that area. Oh. Yeah.
So there's just an accepting of the personality that you seem to have been given in this life?
Well, yeah,
Or the
well, there is a
incarnation, or-
personality. All of my gurus had personalities. They all had particular ways and a particular humor and particular moods, all of that. That all continues. But there was no one identified with it, and there was no one involved with it anymore. It was just like it's on autopilot. You see.
I know it may sound like that I'm having a preference, but I kind of like that.
What?
The idea of like, you're just, this personality is operating, it seems to be operating, and if part of that is all the experiences that you've had in
Yes.
life, that it's
And the
shaped it.
conditioning, and also, an astrologer can tell you. An astrologer can look at your chart and describe your personality right there. It's set. It's already there. Now you see, these are my gurus. They all had different personalities. And their gurus also did. So, Ramesh was just a nice, really peaceful guy, really mellow, and just as likable as possible, really. Now his guru could get pissed off at the drop of anything. And he was known for kicking people out. He was known for having no tolerance whatsoever for stupidity. It's like, so he would have someone over to their talks and had come to several talks, for a few weeks, whatever. And he would go, so what did you understand out of what I've said? And the person would blurt out something that really was just that proved that he didn't really understand what he said. No, Nisargadatta didn't bother explaining the incorrect. He goes, where are you from? Oh, I'm from so-and-so. You should go back there. You're wasting your time here. Get out. Now you see, I can't afford to be like that. There's not enough people here as it is. But it's not my personality either. You see, now, but he didn't care. I think he had a full house all the time. He was giving 2 talks a day. So.
But also probably before Enlightenment, he wasn't a nice guy,
It doesn't seem like it
Yeah.
just developed after.
Yeah. Because you before Enlightenment, you were a nice person anyway.
Oh, well, yeah, you know.
Yeah. You did have
So
to-
that remains.
Yeah.
It just continues.
Yeah.
I guess I just had this idea that enlightenment does bring more peace, though, and maybe doesn't have those kinds of qualities that you're talking about.
Oh, now you're confusing someone having a temper, someone being angry, and someone not being at peace. Remember, I said the peace I'm talking about embraces anger. It embraces fear. It embraces everything. You see? So they were at total peace. So there's this story of Baba. Now Baba was really sweet with me. He was generally a really loving guy. Just poured out of him. And But, you know, I saw him intimately. I saw him in all sorts of situations. And he used to go to the kitchen every day. And he was very, very particular about the energy that went into the food at the ashram. And if he noticed anything off at all, he would take care of that problem and would express a great deal of anger. So there was one time, he was in Ganeshpuri in India, and he's going off in the kitchen, literally throwing pots and pans and yelling at the cook and this and that. And when the Swami's just walking in and go, oh shit, sees Baba like infuriated. And she dives behind these double doors that they have everywhere in India. And she's hiding because she does not want to get, and Baba was coming her way, and she did not want to get in that path. Well, of course, Baba saw her. And he comes out and he goes, looks behind at her, and he goes, how was I, good? How was I, good?
Oh.
You see, it was all gone. It was just, and he was totally at peace with it. And he wasn't like, oh, I'm a guru, what am I doing behaving like this? Oh, I hope no one saw this. He's like, no! He was totally at peace with all of it. You see, so they're not, the emotions are the same, but when you're personally involved, then you have residue, and it stays with you, and leaves you with this yucky feeling that you can't shake. And you end up pissed off for hours or days or whatever. It's like, it's just, ugh, like that. But when it's just expressed, then it's gone.
Yeah.
And without personal involvement, it's all gone. So it's a different quality. And you see, even in that, so someone once said, no, Baba never got mad at me. I don't know why. He never did. But he used to get mad at people who were close to him occasionally. And one person during an experience talk described it as like being hit by a silk sledgehammer. You see? So the love was still in it. It was still there. And the impact was there, though. And you see, because it was Baba, you knew it was exactly what that person needed at that time. That was what was going to get through to them. So, we're talking about a peace that includes everything. You see, then your hand's off. Because if it doesn't include everything, then you have to get involved and try and control it. Yes.
So, do you ever not like someone? Let's say someone is very irritating to you. And so I guess what I'm asking is this accepting that I don't accept is a new kind of idea for me. So, if I have a character in my play of life, and I don't enjoy their company in any way, then
Any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
She's witnessed
then
that.
it's like, okay. I mean, instead of trying to get myself to release and heal every block I have, to feeling peaceful when I'm with the non-stop talker, irritating person, then now I would just say to myself, hey, I accept that I really don't accept this person.
Yeah, well, you know, here, even to make it even more on point,
Yes.
you don't have resonance with them. You see? So it's always like this, you know, there's people that you have resonance with, they're your friends. There's people that you don't have resonance with, they're not your friends. You don't want to hang out with them, you see? So it's like that. So it's no problem. It's no problem with them. You just don't have it. You don't have that resonance. And there's other people that you do. You see? So that's fine. That's normal. That's normal. An enlightened being would still have resonance with some people and not with others. People don't bother me the way they might bother you because I see everybody the same.
And that's how they stay in that field of peace that you're talking about, all-encompassing peace.
Well, yeah, that's, well, for me, we're all the same, you see,
Right.
so I don't feel any separation, I don't experience it that way. I don't even experience it as me and you at all. There are words coming out of this body, and yours, and thoughts, and whatever. But that's not where I'm at. It's just stuff going on. Yes?
Yeah, it used to be daggers and fingernails for me, but now the word allow or accept has weaved its way into my tapestry and stuff. The daggers and the fingernails aren't, they disappear and come, so it's people I don't resonate with.
Anyway, did that answer it for you?
Yes, and it just, except that I don't resonate with this person.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all. And some people, that's their job, is to be irritating. I mean, that's what they do.
We can learn from that, right?
Maybe, and maybe you just want to get away from them. It depends, yes?
What was you described the personalities of your gurus and Nisargadatta? What was Nityananda's,
Well, I never met Nityananda,
or her?
but he was like out there. Okay, he had been enlightened since he was 15 years old. Had been over 40 years, it's like he was not living on the same planet as you and I. His
was he
virtue,
the one that would hang out on the edge
Yeah.
of a wall or something?
yeah. He was, he was considered an enlightened being all of his life and all of his, since adolescence at least. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that would lay
Yeah.
a lot. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
He would do what?
He would just lay on his ashram, the big concrete ledges. He would just lay on the ledge there. Everyone would be out in the street watching him, and he would roll over. But that roll would take an hour. And there's all kinds of far out stories about the stuff he did, really far out. There's, he had otherworldly powers and everything else.
Like what kind of stuff?
Huh?
What kind of stuff?
Oh. Well, so he's building this ashram, right? And the police came and they wanted to know where he's getting all this money. Oh, you want to know where I'm getting? So he took him out to the river, and there's an alligator, and he opens up his mouth and starts pulling out money. Pull it out. You just doing that? They ran away.
The stories are he'd have workmen doing jobs, and they say, okay, we need to get paid. And he said, well, the money's over there under that rock. We need paid. It's under the rock. And they go lift the rock and go, exactly what he owed them would be right underneath that rock.
Yeah. There's all kinds.
All kinds of stories.
I mean, right at his ashram, right there. There's his samadhi where he's buried in the big hall there. But to the right and back a little, there's this little temple with this beautiful stone cow. Not huge. But Nityananda just said, he pointed to that spot, and he said, dig. And 20 feet down, they found this.
They found.
They found.
This statue,
Oh.
this cow, and they brought it up and built a temple around it.
Wow.
So this, like, he knew. He knew all kinds of shit.
We get new meaning to bank security.
He used to sit on top of trees and pull off leaves and drop them, and people would get healed. People would get healed from eating those leaves. So,
I read an interview with the Dalai Lama, and somebody asked him if he ever got mad, and he said, "You want, sure, I get angry." But that was interesting.
yeah, of course. You see, but he was never not at peace. I'll say that as a fact. He was always at peace. You know, it's like, peace, if it's dependent upon environment, upon thoughts or emotions of any kind, then it's not true peace. So, you want to find the peace that exists through everything. You want to find the love that can embrace everything. You want to find that sense of being that was there before you were born and that will be there after you die and is there in every moment, whether you're personally aware of it or not. You see, being personally aware of it is just a booby prize. It doesn't really matter. Because anything that's personal is temporary. That's why you have these experiences, these great spiritual experiences, that sense of oneness, and then it goes away. It goes away because you've personalized it. And it's not a personal experience. It's universal. It's all, this is a universal experience. The oneness that you feel is the same oneness that I feel. It's the same oneness that was there when you were 5 years old, that is there now. It's the same. It's universal. There's no me attached to it at all. In fact, it only came because the me fell into the background temporarily, accidentally. And then you had this experience. You see? So, yeah. Yes.
Well, I've had these conversations with you over and over, so I keep asking, how do I get out of my own way and still be in the world but not of the world?
Okay. It's okay to ask the same questions over and over. And you'll just get the same answers over and over.
Well, wait a minute.
It's
Say it in a
fine.
way that,
It's
say it in a
fine.
different way.
Well, each time it gets heard in a different way.
Okay.
You see? So it's like layers on an onion. It goes deeper as it goes along. So no problem.
Getting out of my own way.
Hmm? Well, look,
Don't personalize everything.
the thing is, let it go on over here. You are simply being self-involved, you see? Just watch it. Watch it. Okay? Become the watcher instead of the doer. Then you're not getting in your way. It's just something going on. And you're over here anyway, so who cares? Look, you're not going to get enlightened because the you that wants to get enlightened is the you who you're not. You already know what it is. You're pretending that the pretend character is going to get there. So how do I as a pretend human being get this pretend character out of my way? So how does the ego get the ego out of the way? It doesn't. It fails every time. Because the ego is itself trying to get rid of the ego. That you see, it's built for failure. And if it has any success, it will be temporary. So let the ego do whatever it wants to do. Who cares? Let it go on and try and get its illusionary non-illusion. Let it do it all. Enjoy the ego's little thing. Really, you just enjoy it because, this is what you're stuck with right now. Okay, it's just a farce. And the truth of the matter is that it's so easy to go to this center, who you truly are. It's so easy that you cannot do it. So, eventually you'll give it up. But in the meantime, let the ego do what it does. Just don't get involved.
I must really like it too much.
Huh?
I must really like it too much.
Well, you see, it's a fun game, isn't it? This is why people go. Look, you go to the movie theater, you plunk down your money, you get your popcorn, you want to see the damn movie. You want to enjoy it, right? So here you are in your damn movie of your lifetime, and you're all invested in it. You want to see the movie. I want to see how it ends. Well, let's skip the ending. Let's just keep going.
I'm emotionally invested.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So just enjoy your movie. But look, for some people, that becomes monotonous, it becomes stressful, it becomes less attractive over time. And so for those people, I'm showing the way out of the movie theater. Okay? You can get out before the movie's over. There's an exit door right there. It's lit. And all you have to do is go to it. And all of a sudden, the door will open, all the light will come in, and you say, I saw light at the end of the tunnel. Huh? Yeah. But they don't mention the exit sign. I don't know why.
That's good.
Ananta?
Yes.
Sometimes it's almost like this body, the body has like such a fast, instantaneous physical reaction.
Yep.
Like a couple hours before I came here, I got this text from an 80-year-old dear angel friend. I
Yeah.
think she's amazing. That she had fallen and broken her hip, and that
Oh.
she was in excruciating pain in this rehab center. So, like, when I read that, well, I should just give a context. Like, that Sundays I try to Sunday is the God day for me.
Yeah.
I mean, every day is a God day, but this day I give myself permission to not do anything and to not have to work and function and all that. So I was remembering, I was reading Robert Adams, and it's so profound for me because it's the same as what you're talking about. It's that this is a dream. And I remember, I go back to those times when I was with Jean Dawn, and when I really got that my whole life had never happened and that it was a dream. And so I was pondering that in the morning. And then this instance, in 1 second, I had this physical reaction. As soon as I read the text, I had this physical reaction of like heat, and then intense sadness. And then I cried for like 5 tears, and then I sort of shockingly thought, this feels really, really real. Why does this feel so real? And I was just, kind of being with that. And then a lot of action happened, different things, advocacy kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But why does the movie continue? And I guess there's no why, but it's like there's still these physical experiences, and then after the there's involvement in that instance, because you are that thing that just caught on fire for a second. The nervous system caught on fire for a second. But then after that, there's like the befuddlement of like, wow, that was interesting. That felt pretty damn real. So how is this a dream when it feels so real?
Said the dreamer.
Exactly. Well, obviously, I'm still dreaming,
So you see,
Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking.
but you see, for the dreamer,
Yeah.
of course it feels real. Just like when you're sleeping at night and you're dreaming something, it feels real. You see, now you're awake and you're dreaming something, it feels real. That's all. You don't have to worry about it. It can feel as real as it wants. Who cares? You see, who cares?
Yeah.
And who cares? Yeah, that would be the dreamer.
Who cares?
But who cares? And so it goes on. Of course, you think for an enlightened being, if they had a close friend who broke their hip, they'd have no reaction. They might indeed cry. They might indeed be moved to advocacy, whatever it is. That could still go on. But there wouldn't be, it wouldn't all be personalized, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
The only thing that gave you that residue to it
Yeah.
was the personalization.
Yeah.
That this is happening, I am experiencing, this is my experience. You see, the
But
same...
this feels real to me.
Well,
This feels real to me.
yes, it feels real to the dreamer. It's always going to feel real to the dreamer.
The me. Yeah.
Yeah, but who cares? You see, it's like, that would just be par for the course, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. It's like, how is it that you're deceived? How is it that you buy into that? How is it that that happens?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so you want to
Mm-hmm.
you want to ask yourself. You see,
Yeah.
there's just that one thing. So basically, everything you described is perfectly consistent until the question arises: how come this feels so real?
Yeah.
Well, because it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who does it feel real to, you see?
Yeah.
And there's where the rub is
Yeah.
the experience which naturally happens has become personalized,
Yeah.
and now it's yours, and now the consequences are yours, and now the action that you have to take to remedy it is yours,
Yeah.
you see?
I get
And,
it.
and the solution to this is every Sunday you turn off your damn phone. Then you don't get those texts
Well, it
on Sunday.
seemed important, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I do, believe me. I turn the whole damn thing off,
Well. That's one way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but you see, it's really, you want to be in a state where it doesn't matter what the challenge is,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what comes up, you're still at peace, you see?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you cry, it doesn't matter if something makes you angry, it doesn't matter what happens,
Yeah.
you're always at peace with it.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes,
So-
it's like being walking and then all of a sudden a thunderstorm comes and you get drenching wet
Yeah.
and you feel all the sensations and stuff, and then you go home and you just take a shower and change your clothes. And there's not like thoughts about that, oh, I might get a cold, or, you know, there's not that.
Well, there could be that, but who would care? That's the thing, you see?
Yeah.
Well, what if it was your personality to
Yeah.
have those kind of thoughts? Fine, but that would be as far as it went.
Right, they would just be thoughts, like,
Yeah.
and there wouldn't be following the thoughts.
Not unless it was really necessary, you know? Like, oh, sure, you go home, you have a shower, you take care of yourself, but that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so just watch your process and ask yourself, who's buying into this? Yes?
Yeah, like, who wants to know why this seemed real?
Yeah,
That's where the rub is. That's exactly what I was asking you.
that
Yes.
was Ramesh's response to all the dumb questions in the beginning, the ones that I used to ask. In the beginning, when I first saw him, when I would ask something that really was not on a deep level at all, that was just on a me level, he would just look at me and he would just go, who wants to know?
Wow.
You see?
That question works for everything,
Wow.
doesn't it?
Who wants to know?
Yeah, and you see, now he didn't do that later, when there were more people coming and they were actually paying to see him. He didn't do that to them. He did that to me, when it was just me. And it was just like, you see, so every question I asked him had to first go through that filter of who wants to know. Before I asked it, I'd make sure that it was going to pass that grade at least. Yes.
So I'm just trying to understand the allowing or the just, it just happens thing. So
Yeah.
when I did bioenergetics, decades ago, when I did Kripalu Yoga, where you hold positions and then all this emotion comes out as you're holding the position. I'm not thinking. I'm watching these emotions come out, whether it's sadness or whatever, or laughter or whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm witnessing the whole thing. Now that doesn't happen in my daily life, but it happened there. Is that close to what you're saying, that it just kind of, it expresses, you have it, and you're witnessing it, you're feeling it completely, but it's just passing like a rainstorm?
Yes, yeah, that's a good mimic of it, okay? You're still doing it, but it's a very good mimic. So there's just that will give you the feeling for what it is that I'm talking about, you see? And you'll know when you're personally involved, because it won't just flow out.
Right.
You see, it will stay with you. And that includes good feelings.
Yes.
They'll stay with you, and bad feelings will stay with you. And if you deceive yourself and take delivery of the good feelings, and then try and do this only with bad feelings, it'll come back and bite you in the ass. Because you take the ride up, you're going to take the ride down.
Yes, got it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you have to be clean about it, and you just continue. So and you can catch it. So here's what I used to do when I noticed early on there was some involvement with thought. I would see it. I would go, oh, look, there's involvement. And as soon as I said that, it was gone. You see, because the mind. The way the mind and the ego operate is in concealment, you see. And so their strength is in being able to
See it.
mask. When you see it the way it is, it just poofs. Emperor has no clothes, you see. Boom. So that's all. So there wasn't a part of me going, oh no, does this mean the Enlightenment's going away? And, oh no, this is involvement, this shouldn't be. No, there was just a moment of involvement. Oh look, involvement.
Or 10 minutes of involvement.
Yeah, not just a moment necessarily.
I'm,
Yeah.
Like 10 days.
well, you're starting at a different,
We laugh, and that happens, and the 10 days go to 8 days, and the 8 days go to 7.
I'm sorry, I just forgot what it was like. Now it's just moments, but it's not even that, but
So, oh, there's involvement. Or, oh, I see you.
Yeah.
If you're having a thought.
to a degree, yes, but then you have to ask, who is it who sees it?
Who is it who sees it?
Yes.
Right.
You see, so if it's gone to that point, oh, I see you, it's still a me trying to deal with the me, you see.
Oh.
So it's,
So, oh, there's involvement gets away from the me, correct?
well, oh, I see it, that is a me spotting the me, okay?
Yeah.
Which is a real intermediate step. What I'm proposing is, oh, there's involvement just from an impersonal place of witnessing, of noticing. You see?
Okay, I'm gonna write that down on my notes in my phone.
All right.
Ananta,
Yes.
I
Remember
wanted to
that
go back to when Jacoby was describing the experience of the rising. It's the bubbling up of something inside that might include strong emotion or physicality, physical senses and everything. And it didn't even seem like there was a thought before that. It was in response to something that it rises up. Because I just had this recently with my husband, who was doing kind of a drama scene in his own story. And there was like an immediate rising up of kind of an equally drama thing in response to that, that had all these sensations and emotions. It just seemed like a poof, it
Yeah.
happened, and it just, there's some aspects, I think, of kind of like what has become part of your biology and the way the neural networks have impressions, and
Yeah.
it just, these things rise. And there isn't necessarily when it's that strong, it seems too difficult to say, oh, there was involvement. Because it was such a
Because
strong experience.
The involvement is so strong. Now, look,
Yes.
this solution is held together by many things. There's a lot going on that makes this seem substantial. One of the things is karmas. And karmic energy, it's like it has a strength that is so strong that it actually lasts more than a lifetime. And so there's real strong draws with people and things and places that are unexplainable, you see, and they'll suck you in. Like how you can have it all together in your life, then you go to visit your parents, and you've lost it, and you're like a teenager again, and it's like you don't understand how this could happen. It's like that. So there's karma. So it's a magnetic force that an enlightened being is subject to as well. Okay? Now, with enlightenment, there's no more sense of doership, so there's no more creating new karmas. But old karmas, still subject. Okay? So there are these it's just one of those things that you can go, wow. Wow. That's karma. You can feel it. Okay? So you can acknowledge that, and there are times where you cannot step away and have that equanimity, that sense of witnessing that I'm talking about. That's okay. It'll come. It'll take time. It'll take more time because the draw is just so strong to suck you in. And that's how it is. That's how it's designed. Look, not many people break free of this illusion before death. It's hard. It's
But
rare.
we are, we're gonna do it. Oh.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Right.
Potentially. Indeed. But, you know, the odds are most of you won't.
I keep thinking of that video. You're killing me.
Well, no, well, look, you know, if I were to say for sure, then your ego would go, oh, yes.
Right.
And if I say no, your ego goes, oh, shit. And I'd rather have your ego going, oh, shit. Because, you know, my job here is to crush that fucker. I'm not here to boost it. Okay?
Well, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Join the crowd.
You know, I have to say in that moment, I experienced that I don't even care
Exactly. That's
about
it.
getting enlightened.
Good. That's it.
That's an interesting thought.
Ultimately, that's what's required. You see? The who that you're not has to give up. Ultimately. It happens organically on its own. You can't make it give up. But it does happen. Case in point, it happens.
If the self actually has to give up, or you just have to quit paying attention to it.
Well, the who that you're not, I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
not the self.
Yeah, but the who, you don't care what the who that you're not does or doesn't do. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
still want it, but you just don't care.
Well, you see, ultimately though, if the who that you're not is still on the spiritual path, it becomes an impediment. But, yeah, I could see where if the who that you're not is going for something and no one actually cares, if no one actually cares, then it's probably not going for something either, you see? Because it's,
Do you think that's why Ramesh said there's nothing you can do? Like someone would ask him, well, what can I do to be free? And he'd go, there's nothing to do. You can't do anything.
yes, because ultimately anything you would do would be an ego doing something, and that would be the problem, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm.
Well, I might disagree with that.
Okay, go ahead.
The who that I'm not has to awaken before it can be enlightened.
What? You said the who that you're not has to be enlightened?
I'll repeat.
Yeah.
It's just me, okay?
Go on.
Take a breath. The who that I'm not, to me, would first need to be awakened before it becomes enlightened. So
The who that you're not is never going to become enlightened. You're confused. You're misconceiving what enlightenment is. You're misconceiving what you are. If the who that you're not were real, it wouldn't be the who that you're not.
That's right.
Right. So the who that you're not is an illusion. Illusions don't get to be enlightened. Illusions don't get to become real. Okay?
You didn't let me finish.
I didn't.
But that's okay. That's all right. I was gonna get there. But, no. There are no buts.
Oh, well.
Ananta,
Yes.
something that I experienced when there was that moment of not caring about getting enlightened
Mm-hmm.
was a different kind of compassion. That
Yes, that different quality is the one that you're looking for. You see? Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what you see, it didn't matter. Everything was okay. All of it.
Yeah.
100%. All aspects.
Yeah, it wasn't an intentional compassion like, oh, I have compassion for this person that is suffering, or oh, yeah,
It's impersonal.
it wasn't that.
It's impersonal. You see, and this is what I find it almost impossible to describe what an impersonal experience is. Because everything's experienced personally when you're identified as separate.
That's ego.
But impersonal experience is totally different quality. Totally different. It's universal, but it's not you. There's no you in it because it's universal. It's everything.
That's so interesting.
I wanna try again.
Look at his face.
The who that I'm not is already enlightened. This is all an illusion. I get that, but I wouldn't have gotten that had I not come to an awareness first.
Oh, well, there's something to be said for being on a spiritual path and trying to get there. I understand that because
Okay.
most of the enlightened beings have been on a spiritual path first and tried to get it. You see, most of them, not all, but most of them. And so it's a tried and true method. But ultimately, it has to release. Ultimately, it has to, because otherwise the ego rules, you see?
So that's interesting because I mentioned I was in the Course in Miracles, right? Some of these people might know what that is, but are you familiar with it?
A little bit.
Okay. It says I think it's in the very first page, it's not a matter of if you take it, it's a matter of when. And so I guess according to that, it's being awakened is a time saver. If that makes any sense. I don't know, I'm not even explaining. I don't know if I'm explaining it the way I want to.
What's the time saver?
Sorry?
What do you say?
I actually don't know.
I could feel that. That's why I didn't know.
Because I realize my ego is talking and
Yeah, it's
and
going
I'm
to do
in,
that.
in conflict with not wanting, and it's just a vicious cycle, so.
That's for sure.
Don't overthink it.
I have a question.
Yes.
For, back to what Laurel was talking about or experiencing, it's like, in those relationships where there's just that instant, reactivity or whatever, where there's history or it triggers something, I think, does that karma just have to play itself out unless you have a teacher that somehow miraculously skims off a little karma here and there?
Yep. Things just have to play, they still have to play themselves out, even if you have a guru who, because that's it playing itself out, you see. So yeah, you're always subject to the karmas of your life. And things happen. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me.
for having
Yes. Bye, everyone. It was
Bye.
interesting.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Then are they completed? Usually,
What do you mean?
if you play it out.
Oh, it doesn't, it depends on the karma.
Yeah.
It really does. You can't, I think that hoping for it being completed is
An illusion.
is the ego,
Right.
you know, wanting a particular outcome. That would be more convenient for it, or easier, or whatever, you see. Like, look, you know, most people, they're not really seeking enlightenment. They're seeking just happiness. The opposite of sadness, the opposite of anger, they want to feel good all the time, you see. That's what I wanted. When I was on the path, that's what I thought I saw and what I thought I wanted, you see.
I just thought that this morning.
So it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal, but ultimately, what happens, at least what happened in my case, was a complete acceptance of all of it, including all the stuff that I didn't want to be there, and all the stuff that I didn't like, and all the stuff that was uncomfortable. I mean, it's real easy to accept the stuff you're comfortable with. It's easy to accept the stuff that you're at peace with. It's easy to accept pleasure, it's hard to accept pain. But ultimately, the acceptance had to include all of it. And then, oddly, the process was complete. The personal process was complete. And I got stuck with everything, and I was okay with it. You see, the only problem is your personal judgment. Your personal judgment of, this I don't want, this I don't like. Why do I have to feel this? I want to feel what that guy's feeling. That's much better. That would be much better for me. My life would be better if I didn't have to feel this, this, and that. Or I didn't have to think this, this, and that. You know, so like this is how we work as individuals. We're always going after what we want and trying to push away what we don't want. And then life just keeps throwing us God just keeps throwing you all kinds of shit.
Right.
Some of it you like and some of it you don't, and some of it's going to come no matter what you do. And it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. But if you can just be in that place of acceptance with all of it, then you know what? You no longer have a problem with any of it. You see? Then you don't have to struggle. As long as there's personal identification, personal evaluation and judgment of your experiences, then there's no end to trouble. There's always going to be problems.
Right.
And you might have a good streak for a while, but you know what's going to happen later? You're going to have a bad streak. You see?
And you know it in the back of your mind, so to speak.
Yeah.
Personalizing it again.
Oh, it's okay. It happens. Yes.
So, am I personalizing it if an event happens, someone does their little thing with their personality, and I reach a point where I say to myself, that's very personal, it's all good, it's all good, and I actually feel that it's all good, doesn't matter, it's okay. So that's, am I tricking myself in thinking that, is that personalizing it?
It could be, but it doesn't matter. I wouldn't overthink it. You know, all you're doing right now is mimicking the truth. When you get really, really good at it, you won't have to do it anymore.
Well, I want to fake it until I make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Just do the best you can right now. Eventually, you'll notice that from behind all this is going on, that the complete acceptance is going on. So like what Laura was expressing
Yes.
was that compassion, that complete acceptance. It's actually going on all the time. Your awareness of it comes and goes. And right now, you're approximating what it must be like. And there's still a me doing it,
Yes.
but that's okay. When you get really, really good at this, you'll realize you don't have to do anything because it's already going on. But until then, you have to do it right now in your process. Because it's still a personal process, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just get really, really good at it. I'm telling you, once you get really, really, really good at it, you will know that the way you are loving yourself is the way I love you, the way that true love is, you see? You'll be in that space. And you'll recognize it, you see? You'll recognize it, and then you realize, of course, this has always been going on. You won't have to do it anymore because it'll be in the forefront. Right now, you're trying to get there, but it's already there. It's already there. You already are what you are seeking. Only the seeker doesn't know.
Only the seeker doesn't know. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to hear a weirdo little thing that I'm doing now?
Can I?
Yeah. So, you told me to set up my puja table, and, you've given me little hints about discipline, spiritual discipline. So now, I'm checking in with my puja, and I'm looking at you,
Yeah.
your picture. I'm just talking to you for a few minutes, and then I go off. So, it's a bizarro thing, but I'm doing it. So,
I used to do that with Baba all the time, with his picture. And his picture would change expression, depending on how it was doing.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that where you got your sort of directive to do talks from your puja? Or?
Yeah, well, that came, well, yeah, 10 years ago, I guess. Something like that. A while back. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. But
For this me character, I love having a puja, a little altar with your picture on it that I can give my problems to. I can tell things.
yeah,
about
thanks a
my-
lot for that. I really appreciate it.
Part of the job.
My friends' issues go right there too. And I was pulling out some pictures at the last satsang because we do have some, some of your pictures that we give to people who, and some of the ones I had from my traveling puja were old and dog-eared a little bit, and so I have them placed by the fireplace, ready to, because you're supposed to burn enlightened
Yeah,
beings, instead of just,
Other pictures.
But I can't.
No, just throw the whole being.
I can't.
Let me see how big. I've gotten smaller. Maybe I could fit
We
it.
did have a fireplace a week or two ago, and but I just couldn't. I couldn't give up your pictures. I just.
Yeah, it's okay. If there's things, that's what you're supposed to do. There was a Astoria, Vasant, at the Agnihotra Press in Baltimore. He was an enlightened disciple of Shree. And I guess they had a brochure with Shree's picture on it. And Vasant goes, go down the road. They had a dirt road that led up to the press. There's a picture of Shree there on the, and so they found it in one of the brochures, and they collected it. You have to burn it. Yeah, it's okay. You just go swaha,
Okay. Swaha.
swaha. If you want, when I'm over, I'll do it.
Why do you have to burn it?
Yeah.
It's respect. Respect. Because if it's a destroyed image, or something, and you're not going to use it, out of respect, you burn it. You don't just dispose of it.
Right.
And you don't throw it in the garbage.
But you could pass it on to someone else.
You
who may
could.
be
You
drawn to it.
You could, but she was talking about out of respect for the image, she has fresh ones. You see, that she can give
Oh,
out.
I see.
brand
Yeah,
new
so maybe
ones,
some of
yeah.
the older pictures.
Yeah. So something dog-eared that had been traveling
Uh-huh.
and
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Plus, I find sometimes when you get images from online and you print them up, they're not as good a quality
No, they're
as
not.
the ones that, like for example, the ones that we have of you
Mhm.
for devotees.
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. And like I said, if you put them together, I'll do it for you. Eventually, you'll have the fireplace going while I'm here.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it'll happen.
This idea kind of moved through when you were saying about talking to the pictures, maybe a picture of Ananta. I was listening to this interview from Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote
Yes.
Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
And she was saying that when her partner had passed from cancer, she felt she still really needed to talk to that person. And so she would do it with a tape recorder. She would get a tape recorder, and I really need to talk to you, and she really need to talk to you, and then she would go on for, even if it was an hour, maybe it was 5 minutes, maybe it was an hour, but she would go on, and she would feel like she would get signs or responses, almost as if she was there.
Mhm.
So I just flashed on it, because I just listened to that this morning on Super Soul Sunday of Oprah's.
Sure.
And, I was thinking, that's not a bad idea.
No.
That was like someone getting over grief, still wanting to, but I was flashing that could be for a teacher even too.
Mm.
Yeah.
I find it helps and brings me peace,
Whatever you can do that brings you more peace, I recommend.
Mm.
Look, it's just a dream here. You might as well have a peaceful dream as much as possible.
Mm.
As much as possible. So, adopt whatever belief systems and whatever rituals, whatever actions bring more peace into your life, great. And just be flexible enough to change them as needed. Don't get stuck on them. Because what works for you today is unlikely to work in 10 years. You see?
Isn't that the truth?
So be flexible. And remember, they're just beliefs. They're just beliefs. 6,000 years ago, people had beliefs that you would find totally incredible. But it worked for them. And if you told them your beliefs, they wouldn't understand it.
Right.
You see? So they're just beliefs. That's all. It's like, people take what they think and what they feel far too seriously. It's just a temporary phenomenon, and you just do the best you can with it. This is no big deal. Billions and billions of people have gone through lifetimes, And we'll continue going through lifetimes, before and after. Don't worry about it. It's all right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear that. Yeah, almost like you're giving us permission, but it's a wonderful thing,
Just remind yourself,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to get caught up
Mhm.
in this idea that this is it. This is it. This is it. Like the most important thing is your life and what you think and what you do. And it just isn't that important. There's billions of people. There's some guy right now in China thinking, this is it. This is it. This is the most important thing in the world. And it's not when it's him, but when it's you.
What's really helpful, I was thinking Jacoby and I go way back. We knew each other in our 20s and lived together and
10 years ago.
all that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, only 10 years. No, that's right, Mark. Only 10
Thank you,
years ago.
Mark.
Yes. And it's interesting because we always stayed connected, but we're just really getting more in each other's world again, that physical part of the world again. And it can actually be really helpful because it's like we are so embracing of what was, but what is now, and it's different, from what was, but
Yes.
we're embracing of the whole thing, and that just feels good to be able to do that, just there's no judgment of any part of it. It just, what was, and all those memories and the way we were then, and embracing, what is now, and being able to be present with each other now, and also being God play. It's a word that, I've been using a lot, is just remembering God play as well.
Hmm.
So sometimes history can be okay.
I didn't say it wasn't.
No, I'm just saying, it doesn't always seem, for myself, I was thinking personally, it doesn't always seem like it is, but in this instance, it
Karmas
feels
can be really
okay.
nice sometimes.
Yeah, Laurel's how I met Lal, which
Oh.
totally put me on this path. I mean, Laurel's the first one where I saw the picture of Ramana Maharshi. And I don't know, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I considered myself sort of a Marxist back then. And I thought that people with gurus just couldn't deal with life. And I was thinking,
And you were right.
here I am.
Well, you got him
Eating
pegged.
my
Life's
words.
an illusion.
But what a blessing. I mean, what a blessing it all is.
Yeah. Well, we've helped each other out in different ways, and that feels good when that can happen, or when that happens.
Hmm.
It's been a lucky karma.
Seems like it, huh?
Okay then. Anything else? Okay.